Welcome back to the deep dive. You, our listener, you came to us looking for a shortcut. I mean, not some magical path, but a structured approach to building wealth that kind of bypasses the usual headaches of real estate.
And that's exactly what we're digging into today. We're going to go beyond the headlines and really get into the mechanics of a system they provocatively call flipping dirt. We're analyzing the source material for something called the Dirty Dollars OS.
Right. We've got these documents in front of us that are promoting a strategy with some pretty explosive claims. We're talking returns of 100%, even 300% on a single deal.
And it's all packaged inside this automated software, this operating system, as they call it, or even, and I love this branding, an actual intelligence dashboard.
So we really need to unpack this. Why do these sources claim that flipping a house is a complete nightmare? And how exactly does flipping land become this, legendary, untapped blue ocean of profit? Okay, let's get into it.
Well, to really get the appeal of their solution, you have to see how they frame the problem first. They call traditional house flipping the old way, and they immediately make that sound like it's just pure stress and, honestly, a ton of risk.
They really lean into the problems with owning an actual physical building.
They do. They use this really memorable alliteration. They call them the 4 plagues that every traditional flipper has to fight.
And these are real headaches, for sure. You've got the people problem, so tenants, late rent, complaints, the nightmare of evictions, then the building itself, toilets.
Right, the 2 a.m. call about a plumbing break, leaky roofs.
Then the stuff you can't see, termites. So hidden damage, mold, things that can just completely destroy your budget. And finally, the one everyone talks about, contractors.
The biggest risk of all, they claim. Stealing money, delaying projects for months. It's the human element you can't control.
And that's before you even talk about the money. I mean, the sources here say the Reno cost alone is $40,000, maybe even $80,000. That's cash you're putting at risk right away.
And that's where they pivot to the market data. They paint this picture of the housing market as a red ocean. It's just bloody with competition.
Saturated.
Totally saturated. You're not just bidding against other individuals who watch flipping shows on TV. You're up against hedge funds with deep pockets.
So they're saying you've got, 15 plus bidders on every decent deal?
At least. And all that competition just squeezes your potential profit down to maybe 15%, and that's if everything goes perfectly.
Which brings us to their alternative, the blue ocean. Land flipping?
Yeah, or the AEM way, as they call it. And the contrast they draw is, well, it's pretty stark. They're claiming there's basically zero competition.
Less than 1 bidder per deal. But the stat that really jumped out at me was this. 96% of vacant landowners have never received an offer. Ever.
That 96% number is huge. Whether it's perfectly accurate or just a little bit of marketing flair, it paints a picture of a market that's just quiet.
Right. It's not on most people's radar.
And that quiet market is what allows for their 2 biggest claims: speed and huge profits. A house flip can take, 4 to 6 months?
At least.
Yeah.
You're dealing with permits, inspections, contractors.
They claim they can exit a deal in 14 to 30 days.
Hold on. Let's pause there. 14 to 30 days. That's unbelievably fast. If you're really getting that speed and margins of 100% or more, you can't be doing a traditional sale. So what's the mechanism? How do they exit that quickly?
That's the secret sauce, really. The entire operation is built to eliminate the physical asset. So no tenants, no renovations, 0 reno costs. The asset is just raw land.
Indestructible.
Indestructible, it just sits there. But the key to the spear is what they call flipping the paper contract instantly.
Okay. So you're not always buying the land with cash and then finding another buyer.
Exactly. You're buying the right to purchase that land for a set price, say $4,800. Then you turn around and sell that right, the contract itself, to a cash buyer for a higher price. It's called an assignment.
So you're the deal finder. You're a middleman who uses the system to find this massive equity spread, and then you just capture that profit without ever actually owning the property.
Precisely. You're trading paper, and you're doing it fast. And they argue this is the low-risk game that the world's smartest investors have been playing for a long, long time.
Which is the perfect pivot, because the source material doesn't just stand on its own logic. It tries to validate everything by pointing to what they call the billionaire's playbook.
It's a really powerful narrative, right? It connects what you can do on your laptop to these huge macroeconomic trends.
And the names they drop are impossible to ignore. I mean, first up, Bill Gates, currently the single largest private owner of farmland in the entire U.S.
Not apartment buildings, farmland, dirt.
Then there's Jeff Bezos, Through all his different companies, he's bought up over 400,000 acres of land in Texas alone.
And that's not just a couple of ranches for fun. That's a massive strategic accumulation of a foundational asset.
And of course, they bring up Warren Buffett. He famously said, land is better than gold because it actually has utility. It has intrinsic value.
And if you connect all those dots, the story they're telling is that billionaires are drawn to land because it's stable and, more importantly, it's operationally simple. For them, it's a no-headache asset. It's a great hedge against inflation, and it just sits there. It doesn't call you at midnight.
And the implication is pretty clear, right? They drive it home for the listener. If the smartest money in the world understands that they aren't making any more of it, why shouldn't you find a way to tap into that same value?
Which is the perfect bridge to how they claim you can do that.
Exactly. This brings us to the operational heart of the system, the Dirty Dollars OS, which is built on their branded actual intelligence.
The whole stated goal of this software is just to remove the fear, to take away the complex math that scares most people away from real estate investing. The guy who built it even says he was terrified of the math at first.
So it's about programming the expertise right into the system. It's about flipping the 80-20 rule. Instead of spending 90% of your time just organizing data.
And only 10% making offers.
Right. The system automates the boring stuff so you can focus on execution.
And when you look past the branding, actual intelligence, what is it? It's really just an automated market analysis tool. It's using localized data to spot valuation gaps much faster than a person could. It's all about speed of execution.
So let's break down the dashboard. It has 4 core features. Feature 1.
The Market Finder map. This is to stop you from just guessing where to look. It shows you the hot zones, areas where land is actually selling, where it's liquid. So you're, fishing in a stock pond.
Okay, that makes sense. And feature 2 seems to be the key to the whole profit model. The 40% formula calculator.
This is the core of their strategy. You find the retail market value, you plug it in, and the system tells you to offer exactly 40% of that value in cash.
So it's designed to find and target motivated sellers.
Highly motivated sellers, or distressed sellers. People who are out of state, maybe they inherited the land, they're sick of paying taxes on it, they see it as a liability, and a fast cash offer for $4,800 sounds a lot better than paying another tax bill on a $12,000 piece of land they've never seen.
And the last 2 features are more about the admin side of things. Feature 3 is the deal pipeline and CRM.
Yeah, that's just the organization tool. It replaces your messy spreadsheets, tracks your offers, your contracts, all of it.
And feature 4 is crucial for actually doing the deal. The contract generator.
This is huge. It prints out a ready-to-sign purchase agreement, but most importantly, it has their proprietary risk mitigation clauses already built right in.
Okay, let's see how this all works in practice. This is where it gets really interesting. They have this case study, the anatomy of a microflick.
Yeah, this is the textbook example. So phase 1 is the find. They say it takes 15 minutes. The map finds a 3-acre lot. Owner lives 3 states away, hasn't paid taxes in 2 years.
The perfect profile. Someone who just wants it gone. The system values the lot at $12,000 retail.
Then, phase 2, the offer. 5 minutes. You plug that $12,000 into the 40% formula, boom, it spits out a cash offer of $4,800. And the claim is, because the seller is so motivated, they accept it quickly.
So now you have phase 3, the exit payday. You've got control of a $12,000 asset for a contract price of $4,800. That's a $7,200 spread on paper.
A spread that you can then assign to another buyer, probably a bigger investor who actually wants to hold the land long term.
But what about the risk? I mean, for a beginner, the biggest fear is getting stuck with a piece of land they can't sell. That's where the zero risk structure comes in, right? That 90-day clause.
This is the most important part for a new investor. The contracts the system generates have this 90-day risk-free clause.
So what does that actually mean?
It means the contract is contingent.
Yeah.
It gives you, the buyer, a 90-day due diligence period. You have 90 days to find an end buyer to assign the contract to. If you can't, or if you find something wrong with the property,
You just walk away.
you can legally terminate the agreement. You're not stuck with the asset. Your risk is minimal, not the full purchase price.
That's a huge safety net. So the system isn't just finding the deal. It's also providing the legal paperwork to protect you while you find a buyer for it.
Yeah.
It's like having programmed experience.
Absolutely. And they frame the whole thing not as just buying a course, but as getting access to a private community of actual deal makers. The total value they claim for all the parts is almost $5,000.
But the offer is a one-time price of $497 for early access.
Yeah.
And they back it with a 90-day guarantee. It's clearly designed for rapid adoption to get people in and executing fast.
Yep.
So let's sum this up. What does it all mean? This deep dive shows a system that's laser-focused on solving the three biggest fears for new investors: not enough capital, too much competition, and the complexity of managing an asset.
It really is. It targets these huge paper margins by forcing deep discounts with that 40% formula. It leverages that massive untapped market of sellers, and then it automates the legal side with that 90-day exit clause to take most of the risk off the table.
So the final synthesis here is that the system is trying to democratize this kind of arbitrage. It shifts the focus from owning property to just controlling the paper, from long-term holds to lightning fast execution.
Exactly. The promise is that you can become a land banker overnight just by plugging into their dashboard. The intelligence isn't about predicting market growth. It's about systematically finding and leveraging seller motivation.
And that brings us to our final thought for you. The source material keeps coming back to Gates, Bezos, Buffett, all hoarding land for its long-term intrinsic value. So think about that structural difference. You've got one asset, a house, that needs constant maintenance, constant capital, constant renovation, and then you have another asset, raw, indestructible land that just sits there. Which one of those truly aligns with the goal of creating passive, low-management, generational wealth? Something for you to mull over.